สวัสดีครับตอนนี้ผมอยู่กับ Sam Peoples นะครับยูทูบเบอร์ที่มีชื่อเสียงมากเลยนะครับของอังกฤษนะครับช่อง United People TV หลายท่านน่าจะติดตาม Sam Peoples กันอยู่แล้วนะครับแล้วก็วันนี้ Sam Peoples มาอยู่กับเราแล้วก็ผมได้เตรียมคำถามหลายคำถามให้กับแซมนะครับซึ่งได้รับเกียรติจากแซมมากในการมาตอบเรื่องราวต่างๆที่หลายคนอาจจะสงสัยเราจะมาแลกเปลี่ยนกันเกี่ยวกับหลายประเด็นเกี่ยวกับ Manchester United ในวันนี้นะครับ so the first question Sam so how's your feeling in terms of the board of directors disappointed that they let Conte slip or they might be cautious to look for other choices at the end of the season
I'm not particularly surprised that Manchester United didn't go for Conte. I think in the short term view of it all, with everything that was going on at United, with the 5-0 to Liverpool, with the 4-2 to Leicester, with the way that United were playing, Conte seemed like the obvious choice. Bring a manager in right now who's world class, not a manager like Mourinho who's probably a little bit past it, not a manager like Van Gaal who's probably a little bit past it, a manager who's Conte. He's won five league titles in like his last 7 years. He's a great manager, but he jarred with what United stand for in the same way that Mourinho did, and that's why he didn't come in. I personally support it. I don't think Conte would have been good in the short term. Yes, it would have definitely boosted and improved this club. But what we need after Solskjaer is somebody who treads the same path, and by that I mean it's obvious that Solskjaer is built towards this 4-2-3-1 system or 4-3-3. We need a manager who's going to play that exact same system so that the squad of players he's got makes sense already, rather than someone like Conte coming in, trying to put in a wing-back system that doesn't work, and then all of a sudden the squad has to get torn apart again for Conte's style to come in. So whoever that next manager is has to be similar to Solskjaer in that respect, and obviously better in others.
do you believe that Sir Alex Ferguson has a loud voice as football side in United board of directors
I think he does. I think he definitely did at the very start. Post Fergie, Moyes came in. That was literally off the back of a recommendation from Fergie, and I think Fergie should have a voice at the club. There's people now that are trying to. This is what happens when things aren't going right. You know, people start pointing fingers. They're saying, "Well, you're a problem. You're a problem. You're definitely a problem." And a lot of fingers are getting pointed towards Fergie. The fingers should be pointed much higher than Fergie. We all know about the Glazers. We all know about how Manchester United are run as a football club or not run as a football club. And that's the problem. I don't think Fergie's part of the problem. And I think the fact that we're having this conversation and we're trying to talk about it, yeah, I think that's what happens. As I said, when things are going wrong, you really try to identify where the problems are. And I think there's much bigger problems at Manchester United than Sir Alex. I'm not saying he's exempt from criticism, but I don't think he's having... I mean, we don't know. All we can do is make assumptions. And I'm going to assume that he's still taken that back seat. He might have visited Carrington on the Tuesday and the Monday after the game against Liverpool, but on that same day, he was getting fitted for a new club suit, which has happened before. It happened... when was it? I think it was before the Europa League final. There's other occasions where suit fitters have been at Carrington. So it might just be people trying to look too hard for problems when it comes to really criticising Fergie. That's my opinion anyway.
so do you trust about Ole's newly backfired system? Okay, Varane's injury got out for a month. It was just a short-term fix to grip on his job, or will he be back in 4-2-3-1?
I think it was a bit of it wasn't a desperate move. I mean, this idea that Solskjaer stole Conte's formation was something I've seen being discussed, and that's just absolute madness. He's used 3 at the back against PSG away, against City away, against Chelsea away, and against Liverpool away, I think, as well. Maybe Liverpool at home. He's used it on multiple occasions against top-level managers, and it's worked because that's the system he's comfortable with. And you saw it against Spurs. United seem far more comfortable inside that 3-5-2 than they do inside a 4-2-3-1. And of course they do, because there's more defenders. You are more comfortable. It's a bigger safety net than the 4-2-3-1 is. And I think he's going to stick with it for City. I think, as I said, overall, Manchester United look more comfortable in it. All season long, we've looked disjointed, too much space between the players. The 4-2-3-1 rarely has really looked that good. And I think he'll stick to the 3-5. I largely see it as a bit of a desperate attempt from him. Like, he's down, he's wounded, he's in the trenches, and everybody's there defending him. Let's just put 7 defenders on the pitch. That would be good. but also at the same time, it allows United to sit deep, play as a team and a unit, and hit fast on the counter attack. And I would say that's probably what Solskjaer has done best at United as a manager.
So as for now, who will you pick as a 3 centre backs as Varane got injured?
Well, Varane's injured, so basically whoever else you choose, it's going to be. Maguire's just been an absolute shell of himself this season. He has been woeful. Probably been getting away with it a little bit because he's English, and that's just the way the press goes in the UK. Back three will definitely be Maguire, Lindelof, and Bailly. Maguire won't be dropped, even if his form dictates that he should be dropped. I think it should probably be Maguire in the middle with Lindelof on the left and Bailly on the right. And as Bailly showed against Atalanta, as we all know from Eric Bailly, when he's great, he's great. When he's great, he's fun to watch. He's energetic. He puts his body on the line. Everyone looks at that and thinks of Vidic. But then if he misses his tackle, he gets a red card. And he's always on the edge. That's kind of what you get with Eric Bailly. But out of the choices we have, we don't have any other choices. It's Bailly, Lindelof, and it's Maguire. Unless you really want to play Phil Jones. And I don't think we're that desperate.
How's your view about Sancho and Van der Beek, who get a very limited game time?
I think both of those have been quite severely mismanaged. I think Van der Beek has always struck me as a player who Solskjaer didn't want to sign. It strikes me as a player that the club looked at Van der Beek when he was playing with Ajax under Ten Hag, and he was, I think it was at 22, 23 at the time, and he was available for like 30, 40 million. In the grand scheme of things, in the scope of the market, that was very, very underpriced for a player of his quality. So I think United looked at Van der Beek and said, you know what, let's just sign him. I know we don't really need that sort of player, but we'll sign him because we can sell him on for money anyway. So it's a win-win situation. Because I haven't seen anything since that's proven me otherwise. Although at the same time, maybe Van der Beek was signed as Pogba's replacement and Pogba's never left. So that might be the reason why Van der Beek's not been playing that much. Either way, I feel really sorry for him. Congratulations to him and his missus, who I think is Dennis Bergkamp's daughter, who's having a baby this week. So he's scoring somewhere, but he's not scoring on the pitch. And I'm happy for him in that sense, but I think he's been mismanaged. And as for Jadon Sancho, that makes no sense whatsoever. Like, we spent 2 years chasing him and chasing him and chasing him. Like he was going to be the central figure of this United new look United team going forward. And he's disappeared into the shadows. And it's not as if we've not been playing the formation that would suit him. We've played largely this season a 4-2-3-1, and he would be perfect on the right-hand side. Not only has he hardly ever played, when he has played, he's played on the left-hand side and not on the right-hand side. Everyone's like, Ollie, what are you doing? So I don't really understand the Sancho situation. I really don't. Obviously, he struggled at the start, but he should have been played a lot more than he has been played. That's for sure.
Okay. So in the long-term development, do you think we should stick to our own culture about stick with the same old manager, pick manager who might coordinate smoothly with the board of directors, or we should change to a Chelsea way, high and sack cycle?
No, that's the last thing I want Manchester United to do, is take anything from Chelsea in terms of how to run a football club. No, not in the slightest. And that's why Conte wasn't appointed. So that's clearly the same philosophy that Manchester United's board are thinking about. But at the same time, we've got it wrong with so many decisions we've just got wrong over the years. I don't think Solskjaer was a bad appointment. I don't think it was a wrong decision to bring him in. I think he's helped the club. I think he's helped transition towards this period where we are now. We should be competing for the Premier League title with the squad that we've got, with the players that he's assembled. He's just not the right man to do that. It's not going towards a Chelsea sacking model. I don't think Manchester United will ever go away from our philosophies and our DNA. And if you want it, go into the cliches that Solskjaer likes to use. But at some point, that DNA and the philosophy and the culture won't really mean that much if you haven't won the league title in 10, 15, 20, 30 years and we become Liverpool. That's the problem that Manchester United are in now. We're coming up to 10 years since we haven't won the league. That's 1/3 of the way there to Liverpool. And it took them another 20 years to really refine themselves. And United, we're going to keep going down that path if we keep making the wrong decisions. So it's about finding the balance of decisions that are in line with this overall vision and culture of the club, and also the ones that are going to get you towards that title. And that's why so many fans wanted Conte, but I personally didn't think it was the right move. So I was not that I was happy that he didn't come in, but I agreed with the decision not to.
So you chose Ten Hag because of a sustainable project of him as well.
Yeah, it was
If
Ten Hag.
if he comes,
yeah, of course. Ten Hag, he's proven that at Ajax. There's a lot that I like. I'm not just talking about his football. I mean, obviously the football he plays is the Ajax way, which is naturally a very entertaining and very exciting style of play to watch. But just how Ten Hag carries himself. He's known as quite a strict individual, but he gets the most out of players. He's got the most out of a lot of players. And he's very good. Obviously, if you're looking at youth and bringing the youth through, then again, there's going to be a philosophy that's going to come from Ajax. But I just like the whole package with Ten Hag. When it comes to Manchester United's next manager, you're going to have to look at like a list of boxes. You're going to tick certain things off. Does he play the youth? Tick. Would he get on with the ball, or would he clash with the ball? Tick or cross, whatever. I think Ten Hag will tick more boxes than any other manager who's available for what we need next. And I think he would be the smart choice for that. For sure he would be. But whether we get him or not is different. I'm just glad that Barcelona have gone for Xavi, because I think if they hadn't gone for Xavi, I don't think we could even talk about Ten Hag, because I think he'd definitely be going to Barcelona. So if that works out for us.
Thank you ขอบคุณครับแล้วก็นี่คือแซม People แห่ง United People TV นะครับหวังว่าทุกท่านจะชื่นชอบแล้วถ้ามีโอกาสเราจะชวนแซมมาพูดคุยกันใหม่นะครับขอบคุณมากครับสวัสดีครับ